Hey, and welcome to a very special Big Dave show and tell today. And I've got a very special guest. It's just me, Ashley, Chelsea, and Stat are sitting this one out. But I've got the man right here. He's big time in Nashville. Kyle Young, CEO of the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum. How you doing there, Kyle?
Good morning, Big Dave. What's up, man?
Oh, just, I'm excited. Nashville's my old hometown. I grew up just down the road in Murfreesboro, and, the Hall of Fame and museum there have just grown. I guess I left in 1998, and since then, you guys said, well, let's just grow it exponentially here and make it more awesome. And it is. I've gotten to go through it a few times when I've been back in Nashville, and I tell you what, it is really something else down there now.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. I've been here for a while, so I've seen a lot of what you're talking about, man.
Yeah, it's very nice. And well, here's the thing I want to say right off the bat. You guys have got something really big coming up. I can't do it justice, and I don't think you can do it as well as if I just show this right now. What we're going to show you is pretty cool.
One of the things about instruments, they're beautiful behind glass, but they love being played.
I love it. I love it so much. How awesome is that?
Yeah, that's kind of fun to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, how about it? I mean, Country Music Hall of Fame, big night. Kyle, can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I'll be happy to. We've been hit hard by COVID. Everybody has, all over the country, and gosh, all over the world. We wanted to make sure everybody was safe, guests and staff and whatnot. And so we closed for 6 months. We just got back open September the 10th. And to us, that means about $35 million in lost revenue over that 6-month period. And so we're sitting around here, and obviously there are a lot of things we can't do because of COVID. Heck, we're not even open. So we started thinking about what we might be able to do because the museum was closed. We do a lot of live stuff, a lot of programming here. And so we were looking at producing something that would look like us, feel like us, give people insight into what we do. Well, at about that time, I'm at home, and I don't know if you saw this or not, but up in Chicago, the Shed Aquarium, they let their penguins out. And so these penguins are walking around the aquarium, and they're looking at their brethren swimming behind glass, and I don't know if they're thinking they're hungry lunch. I don't know, but that sort of made us start thinking about we had something that we could do like that. Oddly enough, I mean, the penguins are kind of their star of their show. In our case, we got a tremendous collection. A lot of it behind glass, where it should be, because it needs to be safe and taken care of. But we thought, you know what? While we're closed, we can safely, carefully take instruments out and connect them to worthy artists and say, here you go, play it.
Absolutely.
And we started thinking about what were the connections between some of these rare, valuable instruments and the artists that were out there.
Well, and the video we just showed, I mean, you got some artists in there. I saw a lot. I mean, pretty much every one of them you recognize instantly. I mean, Miranda Lambert, Kane Brown, Brad Paisley, and I thought you were going to call Brad Paisley a penguin for a minute. Now, I don't know. In a tuxedo, he might look the part there. But I mean, it looks so much fun. And Marty Stuart, and as a boy growing up in Middle Tennessee, Marty Stewart's going to be hosting this big night for the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum there. Marty Stuart, when I first got into country radio in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, right down the road there from you, I went over to get my car washed. I was celebrating getting a car wash. And all of a sudden, this big, I'm sitting there, I used to go in a car wash and you'd watch your car go through. And, oh, here comes I'm thinking, where's my car coming through? Well, there's this huge blue Cadillac coming through. And I'm like, who in the world's car is that? And I turned next to me, and Marty Stuart was standing next to me. I'm like, hey, this is pretty cool. And it was kind of like the first country star I met once I started DJing and living, because, you know, I grew up right outside the area, so I was kind of familiar with everybody, but I always loved Marty Stuart ever since that moment. And I couldn't think of a better person to have hosting this big night for the Hall of Fame and Museum.
Yeah, I mean, Marty's been a great friend of ours for a long, long time, and how fitting, right? Because a recent announcee to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, which he absolutely deserves, 100%. And so you start looking at who might be able to be the narrator, you know, who might be the glue to hold this thing together. And Marty, who has, well, first of all, a virtuoso on tons of instruments.
Insane.
And a huge understanding and knowledge of the music. I mean, I tell him that if his career ever goes south, I got a job for him here, right? Because he knows the history so well.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a good choice and an obvious choice. But for him to take this on was really meaningful to us. And Dave, you know, I should say that we thought we had a good idea here, but in the middle of a pandemic, to ask artists, and you're right, there are a lot of them involved in this show, to ask artists, even though they all live in Nashville, to ask them to come down here in the middle of a pandemic and trust that we will keep them safe.
Sure.
You know, that's not a small ask. And so we were not surprised, but blown away by their generosity of spirit and how much they trusted us to get them in, get them out. I also think that a lot of them thought, my gosh, this isn't going to happen again.
Yeah.
You know, for Ashley McBryde to be handed Loretta's Gibson, right? I mean, that's crazy. So,
well, I mean, and it's a wonderful thing. And you know what? Say what you will, I mean, about them being worried about their safety and everything. But I will say this, and we found this all the way up here in Cincinnati. These guys are hungry to perform, because they're performers, and they haven't been able to do that a lot since pretty much March. So any opportunity they get to be a singer and a songwriter or a performer in front of an audience, be it in person or virtually, they're pretty much jumping at it right now. And this is a great opportunity you guys got coming up next Wednesday night.
Well, I hadn't thought of it in that way. And, you know, that is what they do, and it's in their blood, and they really want to do it. And we're hoping, of course, that the fans out there, the people that love music, are starved for great performances, and we're hoping maybe this delivers that to them too.
I think so. Well, I'm looking at some of the artists on the big night for the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum: Allison Brown, Kane Brown, Carlene Carter, also Rodney Crowell, Emmylou Harris, Miranda, Reba, Tim McGraw, Keb Mose, Ricky Skaggs. You talk about a virtuoso on instruments. Oh my goodness, I'm a frustrated guitar player, and I won't even try to play Country Boy. Come on. And then, you know, Marty Stuart and the War and the Treaty. I mean, this is going to be a great night. Can you tell us what's going to be going on? This will happen on the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum Center's YouTube channel on Wednesday night, October 28th. What's going to be going on? What do I, Dave, as a viewer of this, need to do to make sure I see it all?
Well, you know, I'm glad it is on YouTube, and they've been great partners, by the way. Yeah, Wednesday, October 28th, 8 p.m. Central Time.
Country music for us then.
Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum YouTube channel. What will happen is you will see performances that you will only see one time. The show is 91 minutes long. Marty, as you've already pointed out, is the narrator. This thing was shot entirely in this museum.
Oh, wonderful.
And frankly, it's odd looking, to me at least, because it's empty. It's never empty, and it's sort of eerie and majestic because it is empty. But at any rate,
but it kind of lets the ghosts of some of the artists come to life in there. It does. I mean, I would say that Halloween's almost here and everything, but I mean, when you're in that, it kind of makes you maybe spiritually feel a little closer to seeing, you know, there's Johnny Cash's outfit, or, you know, things like George Jones and stuff like that. I mean, it makes you feel a little more closer to him, and there's not somebody bumping you trying to get around, you know, and things of that nature.
Right. Hey, I will tell you, one of these performances, in fact, is with Carlene and Marty, and it's the finale. And I won't tell you much more than that. but it's being shot in a huge storm broke out that night, and it was like, oh man, there are a lot of people kind of watching what's going on here. I mean, it was crazy in here.
Yeah.
It was spooky, and it's transcendent too, right? I mean, I feel like I think this will happen once, like I said before, and I think you'll see artists in a really different light. You know, I mean, they're in here talking about what made them what they are today. You know, the influences, how they move through their career, you know, through playing instruments that are connected to people that influence them, great friends of theirs, and so on. So,
Well,
yeah.
I think it's interesting, you know, when you have somebody like Reba McEntire there, who, if you look down the list of a lot of the other ladies on there, Miranda Lambert, and you know, you had mentioned Ashley McBride, tremendous influence on those artists. But rarely does somebody sit down with Reba, who's an established artist, and go, hey, who's your influences? Who?
Well,
and then now she's around them in this museum.
Her performance, well, I mean, I was going to say it's the best one, and I can't say that because I might get in trouble, and there are a lot of great ones. But
I'll take the fact for you, Kyle.
What she does, she does an a cappella performance of a Klein song.
Oh my goodness!
Song, and it is like goosebumps. It's awesome.
I'm just hearing you say that because I know that Reba can deliver. So, all right, is there anything else we need to know? YouTube channel, October 28th, Wednesday night. It's 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern for us here in Cincinnati. Just log on. 91 minutes of performances you're never going to see again.
Yeah, and it's free, you know, and it's important that it's free because I think it gives people an idea of who we are and what we do. But we hope people are moved to donate during the show to help get us through, you know, what's a pretty challenging time right now. I mean, we're going to make it. Clearly, we're going to make it. But you know, it's a little bit dicey right now. It's challenging for us and for a lot of people.
And it's very important to, you know, preserve the heritage and the history that is the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum there in Nashville. So, Kyle, I know you got a whole bunch of other people to go talk to and stuff, but one last, can you tell us one story about when you, before you go, Kyle Young, when were you, as CEO of the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum, last starstruck? The last time I was genuinely starstruck was at the CMA's, or I'm sorry, the ACM's 50th in Dallas at the Texas Stadium. And they were rushing us in to get us behind the stage because our show had been lucky enough to win. And I was right behind Reba McEntire, and I was starstruck because I'd never met her before. In all my years in country radio, starstruck. Who did that for Kyle Young?
Well, I mean, I'm lucky because of what I do. And honestly, some nights I go home and I think, I can't believe these people even know my name. So I'm kind of continually starstruck. And also, you know, Dave, it's really interesting. Once you get to know them a little bit.
Exactly.
Often you think that if you meet your heroes, they're not going to live up to what you thought about them before you meet them. Mm-hmm. And boy, in this industry, that's not a problem.
Never
These people deliver, and look at what they've done for us. I mean, look at what they're done for. They have come together around this museum to help us through
they'll
tough
continue to do that too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Well, Kyle, best of luck to this. I know I'm going to be watching, and a whole bunch of other people are. Wednesday night, October 28th, 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. 91 minutes performances you're never going to see again. Brad Paisley, Miranda Lambert, a whole bunch more. You know, Kane Brown. Come on, this is going to be a lot of fun. So we'll get you over there. We'll see you over there. I'll be watching. So you know, give me a little one of these or something to let me know. You know, I'm watching. All right, because you're
all right, man.
Right?
Yep, and I appreciate all your help on this. I really do, Dave. Thanks.
You got it, Kyle. Go have some Witt's barbecue for me there in Nashville, and think of me when you're biting into that sandwich.
All right, Skyline Chili for you, man.
Oh, there you go. No doubt about it. Thank you, Kyle.
See ya.